Hi, this is Jordan. Welcome to Iron Wolf Ranch Distillery. We appreciate you coming out here. Right now we're standing in the still house. That was the first building. Of course, we needed to get into production here. Started with the vodkas and the clears, and then some of our young whiskey we turned into flavored whiskeys, the cinnamon and butterscotch that you hopefully get introduced to in the other videos. And went on to a full-fledged bourbon, and now we've got over 30 awards across the product line. But a lot of that happens here in the still house. So we're gonna walk through and show you kind of the process and what we built out here. All custom designed and built for us at Iron Wolf. So we're pretty proud of it, and we spent a lot of years making it all work and getting it all together. So come join us. All right, we're gonna start out here on the back of building 1, the still house. This is where it all starts. Right now we got some working barrels coming in from hot barrel aging. We're tasting these and we're doing some blends and putting some bourbon in tanks so we can get it bottled and out to market. And that's what a lot of these barrels are doing out here now. As I mentioned, this building's right about in the middle. So the back half we've got reserved for some more buildings. We're working on a big rick house and some expansion there. But right now the containers are where we do our hot barrel aging. So we got a container farm there with 10 containers. That's where those barrels will spend a minimum of 3 years, and that's where they get a lot of that heat and the cold that gives it the unique character and the richness. Of course, in the process, water is key as well. We have a 115,000 gallon rainwater tank. All the roofs off this big building structure feed down into that, and we get pure water. A lot of people like to talk about where their water comes from. We say we get our water from God directly. Also, you need heat and you need cool for the process. So steam generator and a glycol cooling system out here on the equipment pad. You can kind of see tucked over there, but that gets us our steam and our heat, and also provides the cool for managing the fermentation, and also the condensers on the stills. Come in here to the back part of the process. Everybody familiar with making distilled spirits understands there's really 3 main steps to creating distilled spirits. There's the mash cook, there's the fermentation process, and there's distillation. And then the 4th optional step would be barrel aging or infusions or things like that as well. But the 3 main steps start with the mash cook. That happens here. We're based around a 5,000 liter batch process, so it's pretty big for a craft distillery. The mash tun takes that full 5,000 liter batch. The steam jacket creates the heat, big paddles inside, stir the grain in the water, and that's where we create that first breaking down of the grains into the simpler sugars. So the carbohydrate and starch molecules that are in the grains need to be broken down into simple sugars so the yeast can eat the sugar and create the alcohol during the fermentation process. But you got to break those big starch and carbohydrate molecules into simple sugars, and that's what the whole mash cook is about. It's not really a cook, it's just adding heat, it's adding water, the hydrolyzation of those carbohydrate molecules, the natural enzymes and some additive enzymes in the mash cook as well. Just really make that an efficient process to break those big molecules down into the simple sugar that the yeast can process. All right, we're stepping in here down the process, but I did want to point out we're in the middle of a big bourbon blend right now, so more working barrels coming in or going out here, and we're blending and tasting and mixing to get the right profile of the spirits so we can do another bottling, and that's what's happening in these tanks here. We're excited about that. We love the smell in the still house when you're doing those bourbon dumps and you get those nice rich bourbon barrel smells. Oh, one of my favorite things in the world. All right, here we've got the fermentation area. We've got 5 of the fermenters that take that 5,000 liter batch, and we get it in here. You can see the little dimpled areas on the tanks. People ask about those. Those are the cooling jackets. A lot of heat gets generated during fermentation, and you need to manage that heat and the thermodynamics of that process and that reaction. And we do that with the glycol cooling system, almost like a brewery, actually. And that's how we manage that. It spends about a week in here, 5 to 7 days. And that way we maximize the yield. That yeast eats all the little sugar molecules and creates the maximum alcohol. And then the next step, distillation, is all about separation of chemical compounds. That's where we just use the heat to raise the temperature and to separate the chemicals out. And of course we want the ethanol, the ethyl alcohol. That's what we want for our spirits, but all the chemical compounds come out. And that takes a unique process and unique equipment we had built here for us custom at Iron Wolf, and we'll look there next at the stills. But here we're talking about the distillation process. So this is the last step, step number 3. Distillation is all about the separation of chemical compounds, and you do that by adding heat. So the stills are just a big kettle pot with a steam jacket where you add the heat to the mixture inside, and the vapors come off and separate as they go up, and they go through the columns, which gives more separation. So different columns depending on different processes, different spirits that are to be made, and then ultimately condenses out in the condensers and comes out. All right, we're out here at Iron Wolf Ranch Distillery in the den, or the Wolf Den as we say. It's beautiful out here, and we are standing at the craft cocktail bar. Of course, at Iron Wolf, we've got at least 7 spirits, just talking about our main spirits, a little something for everybody, and a whole host of craft cocktails that are unique and help present the distinctive spirits in a unique way. And of course, there's a million other ways that we haven't thought of yet, and a million other cocktails that are unique and distinctive that can take advantage of the Iron Wolf spirits. And we're looking forward to the things that can be created out there in the market with all the great minds and talents of the people that exist out there in the bartending world. Come on out and see us here. We've got live music every weekend. We love it. We feature bands, have a personal passion for music and musicians, and look for us out there in the market as well.